It's Operation Babble with Myke Shrews. It's pop culture, music, movies, TV too. It's time to explore life. It's Operation Babble time.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Operation Babble. I am Myke Shrews here with my co-host Tivis. Tivis, how you doing today, man?
I've been worse.
Have you been better though?
Probably.
Okay. All right, guys, we just want to start off real quick with just apologizing, letting everyone know thank you for your patience. If you have stuck around and are still listening, we have been gone for about 2 months now. We've just been busy with other stuff in life and another project we were doing, but we definitely do want to start getting back to doing this on a routine basis. So we are on episode 135 of Operation Babble, and it's episode 3 of season 3. So we definitely want to start getting some more content out for you guys, and there's a lot of content coming out to talk about too, or news and stuff like that. So
I know Myke has been trying to get the Batman review done with Austin Mosier. I still have yet to see it, so I can't participate. But I mean, you won't get a better conversation of those two anyway. So hopefully that gets out the near future.
Yeah, we're trying to find the right time for me and Mr. Mosier to sit down and chit chat about the Batman when we both have the proper time. So
now I said it, so it has to happen.
Has to happen, right? All right,
because I want to hear it.
Putting pressure on us now, man. Now it's going to be a horrible episode. We're just going to sit there and not talk.
I'd still listen.
Let's get a bunch of this the dirty work done that we need to do for the episode. You can find Operation Babble on Twitter and Facebook at Operation Babble, and then you can find the YouTube videos if you have not ever seen our pretty ugly faces. You can find us on the Myke Shrews YouTube channel at the moment. We have not set up a YouTube channel directly for these. Just because we wanted, well, mostly because I was always uploading them to my page anyways, my channel. So you can definitely find the videos there, and then you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. And you can also join the Operation Babble. Basically, it's named Operation Babble Facebook group, but it is a all-out pop culture group. Basically anything goes in there as long as it's pop culture related, so, or movies, music, etc. Whatever the intro music to this podcast said is basically what it is. And you can definitely join us there as well, and all the links are in our descriptions as well to every episode that we've done. So definitely check that stuff out if you have not. And yeah, we can try and get some people on as guests too that would like to come on and either argue with us about our opinions or discuss some new hot things that are going on out there. Since we are getting old, I am getting older. I'm not necessarily paying attention to every little.
Not that much younger than you.
So yeah, what do we got going on today, man? What do you want to talk about?
Since we last recorded, a certain actor has 2 films that have released. I know you've seen one of them, Free Guy, but have you seen The Adam Project?
I have not seen The Adam Project, but I did watch Free Guy, and I did watch the Red Notice that he did with The Rock and Gal Gadot.
Oh, he did 3. I forgot about that one. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, so
the world was obsessed with that movie, though.
It's okay. It's not great. Sorry, world. Don't kill me.
It even had a crossover with WWE.
Red Notice?
Yeah, that's some stupid egg they had that Vince McMahon actually bought the prop for and used on the show for really, really horrible effect.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
It was bad.
Well,
Free Guy was good though.
What about the new movie though? What was it called again?
The Adam Project.
Adam Project.
I still have to finish the last half because I was having a good time, but my wife got bored of it. It is a pretty cool time travel story.
Yeah, that's the one with Mark Ruffalo and Jennifer Garner, right?
I think so.
Yes, the two actors from 13 going on 30.
Yes, it's them.
I've watched some press stuff with those two talking about the film, and I definitely do want to check it out. I didn't know it was on Netflix though. I thought it was supposed to be.
It's a Netflix original.
Okay. Ryan Reynolds must have a deal with Netflix to be in like a bunch of original movies, because that's 3, right? Well, no, Red Notice, that one, and then he did the Michael Bay one, Underground 6 or whatever the hell that movie was called, that looked like it should have been a TV show. That was a Netflix original as well. So I'm just waiting for him to show up on one of Zack Snyder's Netflix originals now.
Dude, Netflix is doing some
the
weird
next season of Stranger Things.
You hear that BS they're trying to do with password sharing?
Yeah, so Netflix is doing like a upcharge for password sharing. Like you can do 2 onto an account, I guess. And it's like $3 per.
We already pay for multiple accounts.
Yeah.
Why do I have to pay more if it's outside my household? It's still being used by the same number of people, whether those 2 people were living with me or not.
Yeah.
And this is going to screw over people who travel. Your IP is going to be all over the place. So they're going to charge you thinking you're sharing. Or if you use a VPN, they're going to screw you over.
My wife brought up a good point too. What about the people that are, they go off to college and they're still using their parents' account?
Yeah.
They shouldn't have to overpay just because Netflix thinks, like, I understand like some houses, it's like my house will have one and then like say like 5 other people might use the account. Not my account, because I don't fuck around with that. Like they ain't messing with my stuff because I don't trust anybody with my shit. But still.
They're already charging us what, like $16-17 a month. This is going to drive so many people away.
Yeah. I think that's why they're hoping that, they can get some of these bigger movies and stuff in and try and get some of these.
I don't care. Going. I will go to the Bay.
Yeah.
I was for supporting people, but this is just getting like beyond greedy at this point. Screw them.
Everyone is doing it, unfortunately, too. It's getting ridiculous. And Netflix has done that. And Disney Plus is now offering
the advertisement
ads for service version, so you can get it cheaper. I don't think it's raising other prices yet.
I don't think they've announced, but I have a feeling it's going to be. This one's getting raised, and this price is now going to be the advertisement.
Okay, so what I understood was it was going to be a cheaper version of what Disney Plus is now. I
think that's the hope.
I think that's just a lot of people writing articles hoping that's how it's going to work. I don't know if that's what is actually going to happen. So, yeah, we'll see.
They are reporting that it will be cheaper. So maybe you're right, but I still think it's probably wishful thinking.
Yeah. And then there's another streaming service out there that I am having beef with right now.
Oh boy.
Because it has a very they have some movies and stuff coming out that I keep seeing trailers for.
Okay, I know what you're about to say.
And I really enjoy the trailers. Like I'm like, okay, these look like some really cool movies to watch or just check out and stuff. And it's from what is the website? The Daily Wire, I guess, is what is doing it. And they're known to do more news than anything. So now that they're doing movies and stuff, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Do your movies, whatever. I thought, okay, they were just going to be on a different app. No, they're on their news app service. So you have to pay to watch the movies onto their news app. And I'm like, I don't care what side of the news you're on. I'm not going to fucking pay to a news service. Like I'm supposed to get my news for free. Like, fuck you. I won't even pay for a newspaper.
We get the Blade for free out here, so
yeah. But I feel that is just more so just so they can get more people to focus on their news sources and shit like that. over just letting people watch a movie, man. Just let us watch the movies. Like and the sucky thing is with the movies that I've seen through the trailers and stuff through their app is it's like you can't find them anywhere else. They're not even on VOD. They're not on VOD. You can just gonna point it out there because I saw a lot of people in the comments for the ads wondering why you have to pay, this service. Their answers, the question to their answer is you have to pay to watch a lot of stuff. That's the thing. However, you can totally find these movies if you really go looking for them, but you can't find them on their streaming service. And I believe the DVD for one of them was like $40. I was like, holy shit. Like for a movie, I can't even tell if I want to like or not. So
then they're not the only ones doing this. There's so many, like now that the Amazon MGM deal is locked down, so many people are worried that just the home releases are going to be done.
I don't have a whole big issue with that per se.
Well, no, but I'm talking about like it's going to be strictly on Amazon Prime and nowhere else. You keep no more DVDs, no more anything. And that's a real concern with people. And it's happening with a lot of them. The fact that Doom Patrol season 2 hasn't even got a release, but Doom Patrol season 3 is wrapped. Yeah. Like this kind of practice, like I'm still going to pay for your streaming service. You could get extra money from me to allow me to just buy the fucking box set. I will buy WandaVision.
Especially
I'm keeping Disney Plus.
Are collectors like me and stuff. Like, so I'll buy the set if it's part of like the MCU movies. Like I buy them all, even though I can just watch them on Disney Plus now. It doesn't matter. Oh,
yeah. Well, this kind of practice, this finally broke me. I used to be like, who cares where I get it from as long as I can watch it. Right. Now, then I changed to I'm going to, I want to support the business because I'm getting entertainment from them. I want them to know, well, I'm still supporting them, but fuck you. I'm going to make sure I get these at least as downloads to watch if I ever cut the streaming service.
Right. And I think that's one of my bigger issues with this one, with the Daily Wire specific movies. Is it's like I don't want to support any news outlet, so I don't, regardless. So I'm just like I don't want to support any news outlet, and me doing so actually supports the news.
Can you imagine if Disney were to put their, I know I'm pretty sure they're all just ABC local stations, but were to put one of those on Disney Plus, the outrage,
the world would go crazy. Or if like CNN started doing movies and shit, and then like you had to pay the CNN app only.
With how their reporting is, they pretty much are creating their own movies every day. But
yeah, it's just crazy that that you have to pay for that. Like I was like, okay, they're gonna just create. Maybe down the road, once they start building it bigger, maybe they will have. Once they have a bigger library, they'll have a separate streaming service. I'm hoping that something like that comes about, but
they might also be waiting for Gina. What's her last name? Carana
to do her.
She's signed on for a movie from there, so and she's a big deal. So maybe they're waiting for her to come to see how many people get drawn to it.
Okay, yeah,
because they may not be wanting to pay right now for a separate.
Yeah, see,
they're sure.
I didn't know too much about like what the Daily Wire is and nothing because I don't pay attention to news outlets. I just don't care enough to do any of that crap. So once it came on my radar, I was like, wait a minute, this is a news thing. Why am I going to pay them to watch a movie and the movies look really cool too. Like there's one called what's that?
I was going to say, isn't the Weather Channel getting into making movies?
I mean, they make up stuff all the time.
I'm going to look this up while you talk about the trailers.
But no, there's one film on there called Hyperion, which looks pretty cool. It's like a superhero film, and the aesthetic is more so like a what would you say, a 40s or 50s style. And I think it's based off of a book. I think it's based off of the 1989 book, but I'm not 100% sure. And then there was, no, I don't think it's actually based off that, is it?
No, I'm remembering wrong. They just play movies now on Fridays.
Okay. But yeah, the Hyperions is like it's like a family of superheroes, basically, like a family of heroes type shit going on. So I was like, oh, that's really cool, especially now with like the age of superheroes basically just running rampant. I was like, I want to watch this. The aesthetic of it looks pretty cool. It looks different. It's not like shiny and glossy and stuff like that. It's more faded and stuff, but it's not like dark faded, not like grungy or anything like that. So I like the idea of that. And then there was another one that I had seen. I think it's called was it Run Hide Fight? And it deals with like a school shooting type scenario. But the trailer looked pretty cool for it. Like I was like, okay, this makes me like you want to kind of watch it. But it also being like with like a specific news site, you kind of wonder, I wonder how much is like being controlled from their narrative, you know what I mean? When you do
something you gotta think about with every production company though.
Yeah, you gotta think about
looks like those are the only two movies they have now.
The CW is a perfect example for understanding like how do that. So yeah.
I am still reeling from a Batwoman episode I watched the other day. So
what season are you on?
3. I just watched episode 2.
Season 3, is that the first season with the new chick?
No, she came on last season. This is the current aired one, or it just wrapped actually last month. But
okay, so this is I haven't watched that one then. All right, I watched the first one with her. So I watched season 2. I thought Ruby Rose got 2 seasons out before.
Nope,
she's got 1. Oh shit! Damn.
Oh yeah. Damn. But I did finish Titan season 3.
Oh yeah, how'd you like that?
Oh dude, that was like if this show had been like this since the beginning, I don't think anyone would have been complaining about it.
Oh yeah, no.
Like, oh man, this compared to the first season, night and day.
Yeah. Literally in color too. Like
yeah,
it's like season 1 of Titans was just so horribly, I don't know if it was like horribly written or if it was just horribly produced in general, but they
horribly ended. Yes.
the production of it just was horrible. Like, and they really tried to go grungy and dark with the whole like fuck Batman type shit on it, and I'm just like, why, man? And then season 2 sort of got away from it, but then it didn't necessarily, like, it still had a little darker tones with it, especially with the Hawk and Dove stuff in season 2. And then like season 3 just came out of it
hit the ground running,
bro. And it was nice too because it all took place basically in Gotham the entire season, whereas every other season, the other 2 seasons, they were like all over the place. I'm like,
a lot of season 2 was in San Francisco, but they did travel.
Yeah. Well, no, they also did like a lot of the flashback stuff in season 2 and shit like that. So
that was still in San Francisco, though.
Were all those in San Francisco?
Yeah, because that's where the Titans were based.
Well, I mean, like all the Hawk and Dove stuff before.
Oh, I think that was in Gotham, but I'm not sure.
Okay. So yeah, I found season 3 to be 100 times better. Now, am I saying it's like the best DC product that they got right now? Hell no.
No, Doom Patrol. You're watching that now, finally.
Yeah, I am watching Doom Patrol finally. I'm like halfway through the first season. I took like their mid-season break when they took their one that looks like it should have been anyways.
That show's fucking nuts.
So that show's pretty cool. And Brendan Fraser, however you pronounce his last name, I always screw it up every time I say it anyway. He's just awesome in it. He's like, one of the main reasons I've
been missing him a lot. This was I don't think his return story, but it was just after he had come back making things.
Yeah.
There's so many shows I watched that I was like, that he would be a great guest character.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you think he comes back and does a Georgia Jungle sequel with that body? Or another Mummy movie?
No, I think they're done with Mummy for a while after Tom Cruise. Thank God.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It looks like he does have. Well, of course he's going to be. They released the news a long time ago that he's going to be in the Batgirl film.
Yes, which
so
I'm excited for.
To that. And then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 other films in post production right now. So those will be out before Batgirl. So yeah. It says Batgirl's filming right now, but it also says it's supposed to come out in 2022. I don't think that's happening with all the delays that they gave us already.
I wouldn't be shocked if it got pushed, especially since it doesn't actually have a release date or just a window.
Just a window, I guess. But I know it was supposed to be released onto their app only. It wasn't going to go onto.
What is going on with DC? Like, was it Black Adam, Flash, Aquaman all got delayed, but Shazam 2 gets moved forward. Oh, and
they're doing a Shazam 2 yet.
Yeah. God, what was that movie? The animated one, the Super Pets. Like that movie looks fun, but that got pushed back to like Black Adam's spot in July.
So the Batgirl one, it confuses me because J.K. Simmons is going to be reprising his role as Commissioner Gordon in that.
It's so like it's ambiguous what it's going to be.
So I'm just like, wait, what is going? And then Michael Keaton, of course, is being Batman in there, and that's why I think this is also going to get pushed back because the Flash got pushed back, and I don't see no way that they put Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne / Batman on the app before they put him in the theater.
Yeah, because this is going to be an HBO Max exclusive movie.
Yeah.
One of their first.
And there's no way that they put it on the app and then be like, oh yeah, and he's in theaters now. You can go see him be Batman in theaters. But I'm like, I could go see him be Batman at home right now before that. And like, I think it would be a detriment to the Flash movie if they did so, because everyone's going to go see it because of Michael Keaton being in it. Like, that's like the main reason anyways.
Oh yeah. Not a lot of people like Ezra, right?
It's the same reason that the Spider-Man No Way Home movie, I think, did so well. It's because people kept wanting to go back and see all 3 of the guys together and see their Spider-Mans and Spider-Man. They're Spider-Man.
I am deeply annoyed that Blu-ray isn't out yet.
But you can buy it on digital. And I think it's
I don't care. I want that nice little steelbook cover.
Is it on Stars or some shit right now? Dude?
Yeah, they put it on Stars.
And it's still in theaters here anyways.
But if you want to watch a terrible Batman movie, you go watch Morbius next week.
Is it come out next week? Oh,
it's finally going to be out.
All right.
Who knows if it's going to be good or not, but good Lord, I want to know what the heck's going on in that freaking film. And Matt Smith, has been my selling point this entire time. So,
yeah. Another one Michael Keaton's going to be in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I just want to know what freaking world this movie takes place on. That's all I want to know, man.
So do they.
All. Like they're just like, hey, let's toss a little bit of this in there, a little bit of that, and it's like a shepherd's pie of a movie. Like they just like bucket, toss it all in. Yeah. So I am very interested to see what Morbius turns into. I'll probably go see that in theaters for sure.
I'm so curious.
I just want to know. I want to know it all, man.
I will be watching the Batman before I watch this, though. I'll say that.
The Batman, yeah.
God, I want to see this movie so bad.
I really enjoyed the Batman for people. Well, I don't want to give too much away. I'm not going to talk about the film, but as far as like how I liked it, I enjoyed it. And what I kept telling everybody is I feel like this is the best version of a cinematic blockbuster that there's been, at least in a long time, for recent memory anyways. In regards to like what they like Scorsese and all those guys. Is it Scorsese? I think it was. All the old directors who are always like, we need cinema and shit like that.
Oh, yeah. Like all of them.
Yeah, we need cinema and not blockbusters or whatever, not comic book movies, or comic book movies can never be cinema. And this movie right here, I think, is the best example to show, oh, yeah, this is a true cinematic blockbuster at the same time, because it's pretty cool. Like the way that they handle everything and the way that they handle it actually being still a comic book movie in terms of it being a comic book movie. So
you're saying Ezra does show up.
Yes, Ezra Miller shows up. He saves them all.
Or is it Grant Gustin, since he's getting a new season?
Both of them, man. Both of them. Batman can't do anything without the flashes. Aquaman shows up too. Fuck it. Peacemaker shows up as well. And he's just throwing dicks at people.
I have seen a report that WB is extremely happy with this one, and now they're like, maybe we should have planned our future on this movie instead. I'm like, yes, you should have. Let's not rush it this time.
On what movie?
Robat Bat's movie. I legit forgot his real name.
DC. You said WWE.
Yeah. Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? When did they get a stake in it?
Maybe I meant to say WB, but
okay. Oh, maybe you said WB and it just came out E. Okay, yeah. No, yeah, this is definitely a good one to toss some money into.
What is his real name? Help me.
Robert Pattinson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It seriously, like, I was getting the joke name, and that's all.
Well, whenever I talk about him to people, like in text form, instead of saying out his whole name, I'll just type it Robat, just because that's what a lot of people know him as anyways. So at least the people that I talk to, like whenever I text you, I'll say Robat still in text. So
your children have been enjoying some of his older work recently.
Yes, actually, I gave my kid, my littlest kid, who's 8 years old now, the choice between watching Harry Potter. I said, do you want to watch wizards or do you want to watch vampires and wolves?
You lied to him.
and
It's disco balls and changelings.
And he picked Twilight, which is vampires and wolves.
No, it's not.
Wolves. It is wolves. Not
they're
werewolves.
Well, all right, they're not werewolves.
Werewolves. I said wolves. So he picked Twilight, and he watched the first two, Twilight, and then
New Moon.
And then me and my wife ended up watching Eclipse and Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Part 2 by ourselves.
He fell off.
Yeah, they fell off after.
I wonder why.
We tried it when we turned on Eclipse, and that we were going to sit down. He's like, I don't want to watch this. These movies are too sad. I was like, shit. And then we started.
He's not wrong. That's not what I take away, but yeah.
Well, then we started watching the beginning of Eclipse, and it is fucking sad at the beginning of that movie. And we just look at each other and it's like, damn, he's right. These are sad.
Yeah,
because they really don't like change up a whole lot until midway through the third movie, unfortunately. That's when the change up for the movies anyways. I have not yet read the books. I have thought about going back and reading the books.
I have,
but this is the first time that we've sat down and watched all of the Twilight movies, and I know people are going to shut this off now. This is the first time we sat down and watched all the Twilight movies
in a row
since they first came out, basically.
Oh, okay.
But when they first came out, like we went and we watched them, and she read the books. She's read the books. I have not. And we watched Twilight. So the first movie. Oh my God, that movie is so bad. Like I don't understand.
It's got an awesome soundtrack, though. I'll give it that.
I just don't understand how from that movie they got more movies like signed on. Like
because each movie made a ton of money, dude.
it's just
like
ridiculous. Like the acting is so horrid from everybody. And like Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart are two of my favorite actors now. And like they're really good actors. I've watched them in a lot more shit than you have, so trust me. A lot of their
I've seen Huntsman. Especially. It was the same acting quality.
Huntsman is not good. I'll give you some movies to watch of hers, but they're really good actors. There's a lot of good actors in the Twilight franchise, but that first movie was horribly acted. Even fucking what's her name? Oh shit, I'm gonna forget it, so I'm gonna look it up. She's in Anna Kendrick is in these movies. Her acting in the first one is horrendous. And usually she's like really decent at, every role that she does that you see her in. So, I mean, usually she plays about the same character, but still, maybe that's what the difference was. She wasn't playing the same character in this movie.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, like they were just horrible acting. I think the best actors in the first one would have been the guy who plays Jasper. And that's just because he's basically playing it like he's constipated the whole time. Because he's supposed to be the one that goes from he's like the new one that's a new vegan now.
I mean, from the perspective of someone who has read the books, that's a pretty accurate depiction of the character.
Jackson Rathbone is his name. That's an awesome fucking name. Yeah, but he plays Jasper, and you don't really get any information or good story from him until like the third movie too. Like that's when they finally start giving you backstory on some of these people, which is in the films anyways. I don't know about the books. But yeah, I think he was like one of my favorite characters in the movie.
I don't remember in the books. All I remember is that there's a scene where they were talking about, oh yeah, we destroyed a place after we got married because we boned so hard.
That's just a vampire thing. Yeah.
I think it's a weird flex thing.
So yeah, the first movie just is horrible acting. The second one just reminded me of like some like how to put this in proper terms. How would
angst come to life?
It's just the second one, because the second one's all about the wolves, right? Like
the second one is all about, well, she's depressed that what's his face doesn't want her.
Well, yeah, she gets depressed that he left her and stuff like that, but then it's all about the wolves and her relationship with the wolf pack and stuff like that. And you learn a little bit more about the wolf tribe, and stuff like that. So
the problematic tribe.
But the whole movie is just a bunch of like teen studs with their shirts off. I'm like, this is like some gay producer was just like, I want to see them all with their shirts off the entire time. Like, let's just go. Like, fuck it. Yeah.
I think that's the author. Let's not forget that this book inspired 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah. Well, there's what I remember. So there's these sets of movies, and people can Google this. Just type in 1313 movies, and a list of movies will come up from this guy who directed these movies. I swear, all it is a bunch of, toned out dudes on the covers, especially with their shirts off the entire time. And it's all the dudes. The girls are always wearing stuff, and not skanky or scandalous. Scantily clad. Thank you. Clad clothes or anything like that. So
can we just agree that what's her face's dad is the most mistreated person in this entire series?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
That poor dude.
Even by the end of the last movie,
He's like, oh yeah, I'm a vampire now. You're a granddad. Bye.
they don't even tell him they're a vampire. In the movies, they don't ever
I'm
tell
marrying
him.
my abusive boyfriend.
They never say anything about vampires to him.
We'll never see each other again.
It's so fucked up.
Oh yeah, your grandchild's full grown now.
Honestly,
And also a werewolf fell in love with her while she was an infant.
so
That's not creepy.
a bigger problem with these two is her mom, right? Her mom lives in Florida. They took Edward to Florida. The sun is always out here. How the fuck was he not sparkling when he was like getting off the plane? And
Maybe they took him during hurricane season.
no, because they were outside the whole time.
That's why I said hurricane season.
They were still outside the whole time. It was nice and sunny. And not only that, her mom doesn't even show up for her fucking graduation, dude.
Oh, yeah, she's a deadbeat.
And then her mom's new husband, you never see him after the first movie. Like you just don't see him ever.
I forgot that she got remarried. That's a plot point that's thrown away.
No, it's not though, because the Charlie, her dad, brings it up, the fact that see, your mom got remarried and stuff like that. And then you go and see the mom in that same fucking movie, and there's no husband. There's nothing. Never. Anyways,
well, maybe it's just John Cena.
Oh. Yeah. Anyways, so the movie, the second movie is just not as. It's better produced. I'll say that.
It is the worst book as well.
Is it?
I'm sure you could ask your wife. She'd say the same thing.
But afterwards, when you get to Eclipse and they start giving some backstory on the characters, that's when I find it a little more interesting. Because I would rather see like movies or shows of the backstory of them before they become like non-human bloodsuckers, you know?
So you went like before the Watchmen type books.
Yeah, kind of. Because like, so Edward's backstory, for anyone who has not read or watched, in the movies, they give him the Dexter as the backstory. Like he kills only bad people. He kills killers in the movie. That's it. And then I really like Jasper's backstory though, because he's like, you know, Confederate guy. Like he's part of the army and the Civil War and shit like that. And he's training newborns and stuff like that to control them, to go and fight in the army to take over territories. I'm like, that should be a fucking book. That should be the movie right there. Not this love story between a human and a vampire.
Love story is a bit loosely used here. It's an abusive relationship.
Yeah. It's very weird. And the question is, who's being abused more? Is she being abused more, or is he, because being around her drives him crazy because he wants to, one, eat her, but two, he like wants to be around her at the same time too, and doesn't want to eat her. So it's like, who's more abusive in this relationship? Is it Bella, or is
it's just toxic all around?
Edward, sorry, Eddie. I said Eddie. it's
Eddie. Oh, that's what happened to him, huh? Now we know the answer to that song.
Yeah, so I find there's a lot more story to be told pre this story, of course, of the Collins and all that shit, or them just
probably by a better author.
Yeah. But I was thinking, you know, regardless whether it's a prequel or you just redo these, the CW could rock these, dude. I think the CW could knock these out easily.
You want to know how low of an opinion I have on these? I've only seen the first movie, and yet I thought I saw the second one because I saw the parody vampires suck. And it is so accurate to how horrible that second book is. I literally thought I had seen that the New Moon movie.
That's funny. That's funny. Oh, man.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, but I actually, by the time you finish it, there's some things there here and there. I did realize this time around that there's a lot more like social commentary within it, like, you know, the whole her being pregnant and him not wanting to keep the baby, and it's her body, her choice type stuff. And there's a lot more in there. There's like, you have the Native Americans versus the pale ones, or the cold ones as they call them, but they're pale, so that's the white man. So it's like, that's kind of cool too. And I thought there's a lot of really cool things hidden in there, but I guarantee the people that watched these before are just like, oh my God, Edward and Jacob. Oh. Fucking teeny boppers.
Team Blade all the way.
Right? Fuck you, dude. This is just a dumb version of Angel and Buffy. Like, that's all this is. And except for all the vampires get fucking weird ass powers and shit like that.
Yeah. Except for her, she gets like 2 powers.
What's her 2 powers in the book?
She's never hungry, and what was her other one?
So in the movie, they say that she's a shield, so she can like project and like stop other powers from affecting other people.
Oh yeah, she's one of those.
And then I
remember that mutant from X-Men 3.
Right. And then her other one is that she can control herself. She has more self-control.
Yeah. Which
is bullshit, because if you had the self-control, you'd be able to control yourself over, you know, all the other shit you've done. And she had the
worst impulse control out of anyone ever in fictional history.
She also has the fucking power to block other powers before she becomes a vampire.
Does that mean they all have? We're getting too deep in it.
And then here, get this one, because I like made my wife think about it. I was like, if she has the power to block other vampires' powers and shit, did they ever once think that maybe she was immune to their venom and couldn't be turned?
That would have really sucked for them.
Right? I was like, what if she was immune? Like, because no one's powers worked on her ever, like not even the strongest vampires. And I'm like, what if her body is just immune 100% to vampirism?
All right, now you just made the movie interesting.
I would have made the movie not have another movie, because it would have ended. She would have just died.
You reminded me of something I was going to bring up earlier. The fact that they just stopped with this franchise is astounding, because each one made a shit. Like, this was a franchise that was making money hand over fist, and it is ridiculous that they're like, okay, we did the books, we're done now. It didn't just continue it like we're seeing with Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah. So
like, they could have easily made spin-offs, and people would have saw them.
I would have watched them, honestly, depending on the character.
I don't understand why, but
I like a lot of weird shit, man.
Yeah, you do.
I don't care for the love story at all, though. Any of that stuff. I care for all the other shit, which is really cool. Which is probably why the first one.
No, that's fair. A lot of the stuff you brought up, I didn't, even having read, like, it's so basically just throw out comments compared to what the main focus is of these 2 really annoying, horrible characters.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's some cool stuff in there. I'll admit that.
Yeah. But no, I am very surprised that she never continued the story with Jacob and Renesmee, the daughter.
Yeah, maybe because she realized this was a terrible idea.
Well, and by 7 years, the kid would have been full grown, so it wouldn't have mattered.
It still would have been 7.
But she's immortal, so it doesn't fucking matter. And then I asked Nikki, I was like, do you think Renesmee actually eventually turns Jacob into a vampire? And then I asked, if Jacob turns into a vampire because of her,
does he lose his shape-changing ability?
Exactly. I was like, does he lose becoming a wolf and shit like that? And she's like, well, no, because he was born. I was like, yeah, but the wolf needs the warm blood. Once you become a vampire, you have no blood coursing through your veins. So you wouldn't be able to transform into the wolf. And these are big questions. These are stupid fucking questions, by the way, for a stupid franchise that no one
let's go back to the whole he fell in love with a baby thing.
He didn't fall in love with the baby thing. First of all,
imprinted.
Here
is the lore according to the author. If the imprinted person does not reciprocate the love, it will eventually lead the person who imprinted on the other person to commit suicide out of depression. So either she loves him back or he is just going to die tragically. It is a creepy thing that should not be there. By all accounts.
Either way, that's a cool story to do.
God, it's weird. If it was literally anyone else.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think that they should have done. I'm surprised. I don't think that they should have done. I'm surprised that they did not do more stuff with that. But they can always do more stuff anyways, because Jacob technically would age, and the girl, they could just recast her.
Here's another thing. There is a girl with the shape changers. The imprinting happens from the male side.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens with her?
She's fucked. That's also, I wanted to point this out too, by the way, because I paid attention and everything. And Edward's backstory is basically like Dexter, like I said. Also, the actor who plays Dexter's brother is in these movies, and the actor who plays Dexter's final or last fling or whatever in the recent season of Dexter is in these movies. She is actually the one werewolf or girl who can change into a wolf. So yeah. I had to find my Dexter connections, man, and everything. They're all there. They have to be. Anyways, I think that's enough.
Well, speaking of blood, did you hear the latest news from the boys?
I did not. What's the news?
Apparently they used so much fake blood they ran out.
Well, how does that work?
I don't know, but if they think this is a selling point to watching the season, it's not.
Most of their blood is CG anyways. What the fuck are they talking about? Like,
look, I don't understand what is going on with this show. They have not talked at all about the season 3 story, other than the one writer who's excited for everyone to read about the island orgy episode. Which, okay.
Well, I know they're bringing in their like Captain America version kind of thing. Right?
I need more. I've seen Jupiter's Legacy. It is the better version of this shit. And we're about to get Irredeemable, which is an even better version of this.
I think this will last probably for 4 seasons, and then it'll end. The boys will. 4 or 5 tops.
The animated spinoff is out now.
Yeah.
I heard that's pretty funny, but you won't understand a lot of the jokes if you're not up to date with the series.
Is that the one that's just like in present time? Because I heard they were doing one that was like in the same world, but with kids or some shit like that.
It's like their college years.
That's what. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the animated then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's dumb. I thought that was going to be like an actual live action thing.
No, but I am excited for Irredeemable. Like the market is getting oversaturated with evil Supermen. But out of all the different versions, aside from Injustice, which DC fucked up, so we could throw that out now, Irredeemable is the best that I've read. Like by far, the characters, the motivation, Incorruptible, the spinoff that ties into it, like they're parallel stories that then intertwine and become one towards the end of its run. Yeah. Basically, it tells the story of this guy's arch nemesis who's like sees his name's the Plutonian, and he just goes insane one day because his life is just absolute horrible bullshit. His adopted parents hate him. The love of his life rejects him for being a weirdo, creep. And all the superheroes just hate him. They don't want to hang out with him because he's a jackass. So he's like, all right, whatever, fuck all of you.
Nice.
And then his arch nemesis, whose sidekick is going to be the most problematic thing because her whole gimmick is jailbait. So I'll be interested to see if that even gets adapted. He's like, well, all right, I know I was a bad guy, but I wasn't evil. This is just straight up evil. I guess I'm the good guy now. I have to be the only one who can stop him. And it's basically just a hilarious story of this notorious bad guy going around helping the police. And they're like, should we shoot him?
Sorry. Yeah, that sounds like fun.
It is a great story. I recommend giving it a read. It's so good. It's from Boom Studios.
Okay. Before I go to the next thing, I do want to also point out to people out there who might be, Twilight haters, because Robert Pattinson was a massive Twilight hater back when they were doing freaking PR for the second.
He was not
movie.
hiding his displeasure.
He came out in a interview for Batman and saying, "Hey, you know what? It's not cool anymore to be a Twilight hater. It's totally 2010s."
I'm sorry, that story is still bad even today. It has not improved.
I think maybe he's sucking up because he heard that there's a book that recently came out in 2020 that's all in Edward's point of view.
I highly doubt he would ever go back for any amount of money.
No, I don't think so either. Anyways, moving forward, you were talking about comic book stuff. There's actually a DC product on HBO Max. It's a mini series.
Oh yeah, DMZ finally came out.
Yeah. I saw this last night. I didn't watch it yet. It's only 4 episodes, so I'll definitely check it out.
It is only very loosely based on the comics, though. Just be aware, anyone who is a fan of that. They changed the main character, they changed the motivation, but the premise is still kind of the same.
Yeah. And it stars what's her name? She's in the new Star Wars stuff now. Oh shit. Kill me. I don't remember now her name.
I got IMDb pulled up. It is Rosario Dawson.
Yes, Rosario Dawson. Thank you. Yeah. So it looks pretty cool. And Rosario Dawson is just like on a roll, man, for like everything lately. Everything she's in, she like knocks it out the park, as at least her part anyways, I should say. So yeah. Definitely check that out.
There's a lot of comic book stuff coming out. I mean, you got Moon Knight next week.
Moon Knight drops on Disney Plus, right?
Yep. And all the Netflix shows are on there now. I think Moon Knight was going to be the bridge between, the stretching the PG-13 limit to then doing more, darker tone stuff like the Netflix shows. Yeah. Because from all the trailers I've seen, which still make me confused as hell what the hell's going on. So I applaud them. Continue doing that. I don't want to know until I watch it. It looks really dark compared to the others.
Yeah.
So I feel like this one could be a bridge kind of, trying to take from the PG-13 to whatever the Netflix ones are. I don't know if they're MA or R or whatever, but a lot of the stuff
mature.
Because a lot of the stuff we're getting the rest of the year is going to be more kid oriented with Miss Marvel and all that, which I'm excited for that. Did you watch the trailer for that?
I finally did watch the trailer for Miss Marvel. I'm not like huge onto her comic book origins and stuff. So I know there was like a lot of complaints and crap about her power. I'm like, MCU changes shit all the time, so who cares? First of all, anymore. I'm over the arguing like, oh, that's not comic accurate. I know the MCU. They're just
You know what else isn't comic accurate? The Constantine movie. Yet everyone still enjoys the hell out of that. So
the Constantine movie. Which one?
The Keanu Reeves.
It was okay.
That's the only Constantine movie.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not Matt, I don't want to watch it anymore now, though, after seeing his performance. Oh, yeah. But no, I saw the trailer for Miss Marvel, and it looks like it'll be entertaining. It's going to be fun for kids, fun for families to watch together, hopefully. And her powers didn't seem like drastically different from what I know of her.
Well, I know there's a lot of comparisons to her to Mr. Fantastic, but she's actually more like I have Elastic Man from DC. Like she can shape shift it. Yeah. Like Mr. Fantastic can look like make himself appear like a couch. She can actually make herself into a couch if she wanted to.
Right.
So it's more of shape shifting type powers rather than stretching. But I think this is a nice medium because it avoids the Inhumans, which they're still avoiding. But also this could be a Terrigen crystal that may possibly unlock her real powers later on if they want.
Right.
So it's kind of an out. It's a trade-off.
Though in the trailer, I did not see, unless I missed it, but in the trailer, I didn't see her actual outfit. I don't recall, but I know she's in the outfit because I've seen set photos of her in the outfit. But I don't think that she's actually in her costume in the trailer yet.
They briefly tease it at the end.
Did they?
Yeah, where she's looking over the Manhattan skyline.
Okay, because all I saw her
is a real cool shot, I will add.
Yeah.
Like
all I had seen her in was the Captain Marvel outfit that she was wearing before.
Yeah, the Kree battle armor look.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that being like one of the last things of the trailer, though, because one of the things that has remained consistent about her character is she is the ultimate fanboy for superheroes. So, living that close to New York, looking out at where it all began, dreaming of being a part of that world.
Yeah.
It's very fitting for that character, and I'm super excited for it. I think, I know we keep saying we want more grittier street level stuff, but I think it's also been a while since we had some more lighthearted, kiddier stuff as well. So I kind of feel like I'm excited for both ends of the spectrum.
I think this is going to be more on the level of like how Shazam was, honestly.
Yes.
That's how I grasped from the trailer anyways, is it's going to be more on a Shazam style aesthetic.
You mean Captain Marvel?
The original Captain Marvel, before there was a Captain Marvel.
And then DC successfully got the rights Marvel because DC forgot to re-up them.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I that's how I feel. It's just going to be the aesthetic of Shazam, and you'll get you might get a couple moments where you think it's going to go dark, but it's not going to get that dark.
Yeah.
And then as far as everything else goes, I don't know for Moon Knight. I'm excited to see that because I'm a Moon Knight fan. So
I know they've been releasing some scenes now, and I'm like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, no, don't show me shit. Don't show me anything. I've seen one trailer. That's all I need. You're good. We're good. Let's just move forward. I do hope that by the end of this, or sometime soon anyways, that we get an appearance of Black Knight or Blade.
Yes.
In his show seems like one of the better ones that's coming out to introduce those two characters. I know we got like a light cameo tease of both of them in Eternals at the very end.
More
We
so
didn't
one
even-
than another.
Yeah, we didn't even see Blade. We just heard his voice, and then the other one we
Dude,
just
didn't know who it was until Feige told us all.
Oh, the voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other one we didn't, get to actually see him as Black Knight. We just saw him preparing to possibly become Black Knight. It doesn't even mean he's actually going to. It could just have been a tease and be like, we're not going to do that actually. Kind of like Venom showing up in the MCU for like nothing.
Oh, no, don't bring that up. I'm so... That... All right, I'm going to pivot to Book of Boba Fett, which we didn't get to talk about at all.
I have not watched any of that, but you can definitely talk about it, man.
I got the same, like early on in the show, I got the same feeling as I did for, no, I guess I can't say that. Venom was disappointing, the whole thing. Book of Boba Fett, it was like, I've never been a Boba Fett fan. I'd never understood the fandom for him because it just going from the movies, he's the very first scene with him, he gets ridiculed for being horrible at his job, and then he gets outmaneuvered by a blind guy in the next one. It's just, he doesn't leave a good impression. And then, the Clone Wars came along, expanded upon him a bit. He's more of a bumbling kid trying to go into the bounty hunter world. This show brought back the bumbling Boba. I was ecstatic about that. There's no motivation for anything that happens in this series, like at all. It's just him like, hey, I'm going to do this. Why are you doing this?
Just cause.
And
I did hear something really cool that would have been cool for this show anyways. It didn't happen though. Because, as we've all heard, Sam Jackson said, bring
yes,
back
Windu is still alive, according to Sam Jackson.
Bring back Mace Windu. And I feel like this show probably would have been, and I heard other people say so. That's why I thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. This would have probably been the perfect place to bring him back because Mace Windu is the one who killed his dad, killed Jango. Yep. So I'm like, yeah, that makes 100% sense. Like, why not? So unless we get a second season of Boba, I don't know.
Which may happen. I don't know. It's they seem like they're moving more towards like more interconnected stories, and I don't know how I feel about that because.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So Jango Fett was the main one. He was the real person.
He was the source of the clones.
Boba was his clone, but like he didn't get like turned into like the stormtrooper. And then all the other stormtroopers looked like him.
Clone troopers,
yes, sorry. What is stopping any of those clone troopers from pretending to be Boba Fett?
At this point in time, they're like the equivalent of 70 to 80 because they were given a hormone that makes them age rapidly.
I thought they were made so they wouldn't age. I thought that
only Boba. Boba was the only pure clone.
Okay. So they built it into them so that they wouldn't live for forever. Gotcha.
Yeah, they kind of touch on that a little bit in the Star Wars Rebels cartoon show and a bit more in the books. But yeah, the clone troopers, they're aging rapidly, and that was another reason why the Empire wanted to replace them with cheaper, kind of almost volunteer army.
Right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I was just curious because I was like, what is stopping any of them from doing that shit? But yeah, so if they would actually be almost dead then.
Yeah.
Right. At least
by this point, it'd be a miracle if any of them were still around.
But isn't Boba Fett actually older than what he should be?
No, because he'd be, what is it?
I guess we never saw him in the original 3 without his helmet on. So
yeah, I mean, well, all right. So this takes place what, 3 years or so after
He falls into Sarlacc pit.
yeah.
So he got way out of shape in 3 years, and way. Well, I guess because we never saw how old he was, but we always assumed he was like in his 20s when we first watched those movies. But then knowing he was a kid, he should only technically be like 10 years older than Luke, though. Because he might have been 10 years old in the prequels. And then Luke was born.
The Clone Wars happened 19 years before the Battle of Yavin, which is when they blew up the first Death Star.
Right.
All right. And
But I'm saying, like, age-wise, he's only like 10 years older than Luke. So he shouldn't be like massively old.
So it has only been 18 years since the Clone Wars.
So he'd be about 28 right there. Because he was not that old in the prequel movies.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Yeah.
So does somebody want to tell Filoni and them to do the math? Did I just ruin that for everybody? I hope so, because it doesn't make sense.
Let me just.
I think I broke.
Oh no, it has been 32 years. I'm sorry.
Since the Clone Wars.
Yeah, because Attack of the Clones is 22 years before the first Death Star gets exploded, and then Book of Boba Fett's 9 years after. So
that makes more sense.
Yeah. All right. I was like, this doesn't seem right.
But it'd still only be like 42, 42, 43-ish around there. And he looks like he's pushing 60 right now.
There are people who age gracefully, and there are people who, look like they're 90 when they turn 30. So
that dude is not white. He should not be cracking that young.
Oh, yeah.
I broke you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, that's a valid critic. I've never thought about that. Honestly, I don't know why I haven't.
Yeah, but then in those aspects too, then Mace Windu, if he did survive, he would be like what, old as fuck, like, because he looked like he was pushing 40s 50s in that movie. Sorry, Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson's looks old his entire career almost, except for Die Hard.
Now let's see. Do they? Mace Windu was roughly 40 in episode 1, so
he'd be pushing like 80
at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
He was 53 at the end of the Republic. So, yeah, he'd be in his 60s, 70s.
So about the same age as Sam Jackson is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I could live with that then. That would be cool to see him come back, but I would feel like we need to see him like messed up, kind of like Darth Maul. Like when Darth Maul came back in the cartoon where he had the robot legs and shit like that.
Weird ass spider legs.
Which have we seen him? Have they brought him back into the shows at all? I know they teased him in the Solo movie?
Yeah. His story comes to an end in Rebels. So if anyone wants to see the end of his tale, it's in that.
So then the Solo movie takes place during that time or around that time frame then?
Before
that? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the timeline goes episode 3 Solo Rogue One, then Episode 4.
Okay.
And then Rebels is like the 5 years leading up to Rogue One.
Gotcha. Getting a little Star Wars history here, people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't
a big Star Wars nerd.
Order that much. So yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So what else though were you wanting to bitch about with the show? Sorry.
Oh, no, it's just pretty much that. It's just like there's some really cool stuff in it, but man, does it feel aimless like a lot. And like there's some stuff there's some joking criticisms I have about the ending that I don't want to bring up in case you do end up watching it. Okay. But it's just,
dude, people spoiled the end of Mando season 2 for me, so it doesn't matter. Like that was the big one. I was like, okay, whatever.
Well, I mean, do you want me to?
I don't care as long as the audience.
I'll lightly touch on it. It ends in a battle in the town, one of the cities of Tatooine, and Boba Fett's team trying to push out because it deals with another syndicate trying to move in. The Pikes, who were in Solo and the final season of Clone Wars that they did. It was they're trying to move in and do business there, and he's like, "Nah, this is my territory." So it's a dispute, a war between them. His team does more damage to the city than the Pikes trying to defend it, and it's hilarious.
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, but yeah, it is. They even advertised this the year leading to it, but it is for all in, all sense of the word. It is Mandalorian 3.5. Season 4 is going to pick up after the events of this. So,
okay,
it is. I would say it's definitely a must watch if you're into Mando. Unfortunately, because it's not as good.
I haven't watched season 2 of Mando yet, so
it's good.
I'm still trying to catch up on some Star Trek. So
yeah. How far? Then they got the new shows coming out for that too. You got.
I think whatever's going on with Discovery, I have not watched the newest stuff yet, and I know Picard's about to start up, so.
Prodigy and
do another show. Prodigy, I'm trying to get the kids to watch with me. So
what is the World Beyond or something like that? No, that's Walking Dead spinoff. What's the new Star Trek?
The one with Pike. I know what you're talking about. I forget the name because I swore they changed it like twice. A Whole New World or some shit like that. No, that's a song.
A whole new. We're gonna get taken down for that.
New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds. Yes.
Yeah. Strange New Worlds. So that's one where it's like it's like between whatever and whatever, right before the original shit show starts, which they cast a new Kirk. I heard, and so we have Anson Mount is going to play Christopher Pike, of course, and then we have Ethan Peck is playing Spock again, which he played. Both of those played their roles in Discovery, season 2, I believe. Who
played Spock in Enterprise?
In Enterprise?
Yeah,
I don't believe Spock ever showed up in Enterprise.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because that was 100 years before the original series.
Oh, I thought they had a cameo.
No. The Vulcans that did show up on Enterprise, I believe it was Spock's father.
So. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah. And then, of course, we had what's her fucking name? Sorry, it's a Paul. She was like the main. She was the main Vulcan on Enterprise. She's so hot. Kirk had it right. Just do all the aliens, man. Like gonna fill the silence with random shit if you don't start talking.
No, I swear I thought, I don't know. I started that show a while ago, so I should probably. But sci-fi I'm excited for is Halo's coming out tomorrow, or for listeners the day before you're hearing this. And I cannot believe it's finally here. 9 years I've been waiting for this damn show.
Okay.
Fucking finally.
I don't know anything about Halo, so
Oh, you don't need to for this, because and this is the clickbait that everyone is freaking out about. They did not play the games or read the books to make the show. They instead worked closely with the writers of the franchise to get the basics, so they actually have some idea of what they're doing. They didn't just make shit up and call it Halo.
I think Tivis has an issue with some some articles out there.
Oh my God, the headlines are ridiculous. Like, people, calm down.
You don't have to play the game to write write it.
Well, they did. They wanted to
writers that I would think working with the writers is a better way.
Well, that's what they wanted, the get the basics of the franchise down, and then expand from there, and not have any of their ideas kind of influenced by existing content. They want to go in their own direction, and I say let them give it a try.
Which makes sense. I mean, what was it? Resident Evil, the massive Resident Evil franchise, the live action with Mila Jovovich. They did almost the same thing. They took certain elements from the game. Yeah. But they went
especially early on, but then later.
But they went in their whole own direction with what they were doing, which I feel makes it a good franchise. Like, I like those movies. I don't really, I didn't never play the game though, so I don't have that, aspect in my mind or anything like that. But as far as that franchise and stuff, I thought it was pretty fun. It was, I looked at it as just another weird zombie creature movie, and went with it. And I thought it did very well by itself. It just has the Resident Evil name, and they tossed in some Resident Evil hit points there and shit.
And Sonic did the same thing. I'm shocked by how good that movie was, but it's, anthropomorphic hedgehog, runs fast. It has some importance with coins. Evil Dr. Eggman. And that's all you need. And they went with it in their own thing. And it worked out.
Yeah, that one was a really good one. And for video game ones too, it's always like a hit or miss. Like Doom could be so good, but they just keep fucking it up, man. Like the Rock one too, the one they did with the Rock,
which I still enjoy.
I mean, it's an enjoyable film, don't get me wrong,
but it could have been better. I will admit that
100% could have been better. But that fucking scene at the end with the fucking what was it?
First person. I love that.
Are you kidding me, man? That was like so
I love that.
It was so dumb. So dumb. And so ahead of its time too, by the way. But yeah, like video game movies, they just like they need to figure out the niche, like what their design is going to be before they go into it. I mean, Doom, if you take Doom, okay, you want to see a better version of Doom, go watch Ghosts of Mars with Ice Cube. Like, sadly, I mean, it's a better version of Doom. Like demon, alien, ghosts and shit. It's demons. You can call them demons if you want. So
I've been talking with one of my good buddies about this, and he brought up this point, and I have, like, it blew my mind, and I've been on board ever since. But like, you need to get the world right over trying to get the story, because if you get the world right, it doesn't matter if you change the story, it will still feel like it belongs. Well, with Resident Evil is a good example.
Yeah, with Resident Evil too, like Alice wasn't even part of the game, right?
No, original character.
Yeah. 100% original. So
Well, an amalgamation of characters, but
was it?
original stuff.
We'll say 100% original still. The name wasn't used. But yeah, no, it's that's what you do. You need to do. You need to build the world. You need to set it up. You need to do all these different things so that you can make sure that the product is going to be enjoyable, regardless if you're a fan of the game or not. You know what I mean? Like say Sonic came out, but it was done with the animation that they originally supposedly, will say, they thought, made us all think they were going to put out.
Oh no, that was real, and then they didn't get paid to fix it.
If that came out like that, that wouldn't have been enjoyable, not just for video game people, but for just people that didn't know who the hell Sonic was in the first place. Because they'd be like, what the fuck is this ugly stuff? What the hell?
One of the most important things, stop giving human teeth to animals. It's creepy.
Yeah. Oh man. But it's like one of the best. So like, and this isn't a video game story, but this is just an adaptation. One of the best, I feel anyways, Peter Pan stories was Hook. When you see Peter Pan grown up, I'm like, do something different. We don't necessarily need, and I know there's going to be people out there, well, I want what I saw or grew up with, or I want this because that's how it's supposed to be. And what do you mean they can change it? They shouldn't be allowed to change it because I don't like that. If I like that, then I wouldn't fucking play the game in the first place or some shit. Like, there's going to be people out there like that all the time. As a creator, fuck you. Like, this is my shit. If you don't want to go watch it, don't go watch it. But guess what? You're going to hate watch it anyways. So, and
I think there's room for both.
Dick right now, too.
So. No, you're not. You're making really good points. Those people are being the dicks. Like, I'm sorry, you're not willing to give things a chance. At least that's on you, not the product itself.
Don't get me wrong, too. There is a part where you do need to do stuff for your audience. You need to know your audience.
Well, yeah.
But you're not going to please everybody. No. And not only that, there's so many, and I don't want to use the word toxic, but there's so many like fans out there that
jackasses.
They just want what they've already had. It's like,
that's been one of my things about comic movies. I don't want the exact comic translated on screen.
Right.
It's not.
I think
things will never work that way. Going from medium to medium, they will never be 1-to-1.
Yeah,
that is an impossibility. I think you can have both?
I definitely like. So there is a point where it's nice. I guess what you would say, not the same story. Like, what was that horrible animation movie, that Justice League one they just did?
Injustice.
They tried to do it, but they tried to do it in an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to like hit all the main points from the story. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like,
no,
you're doing this in an hour and a half and you're just making Superman look like a dick and not like he's actually in pain or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's so much to that character that gets lost in what they did.
Yeah. But go on.
What I was going to say is you can have, like this Halo show. It's going to be completely different from the games, and that's okay. That's fine. Maybe it'll renew interest in people into trying stuff. But I also think if they wanted to do an adaptation, and for some reason I'm really biased about this, I feel like if you do that, animation is the best way to do it. You could do that as well later on. Like I really think I would love for them to take the Resident Evil stories from the games, do an animated show in the same vein as Castlevania for Netflix, since they have those animated movies, which are already canon to the games. And obviously some things are going to change, but I feel like you can do that. That's fine. And this other stuff that they're doing, like Welcome to Raccoon City, that could exist together. But I would love for people who don't play games, or even people who, physically can't, to be able to enjoy the story. The way the story that I enjoyed, while also getting the chance to explore these other options.
Right.
So it's like a balancing thing. I fully believe they can do both if they wanted to. Maybe not at the same time, because then you're cannibalizing, but in fact, we have we just got Welcome to Raccoon City, and now we have the Netflix, whatever their original show is going to be. That's not connected to anything either.
Yeah. I thought that came out already. Did not, or
no, that was a mini series that is part of the game story.
Okay.
This is a new project that is going to be talking about the children of Wesker, I think.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, I there's like so many different angles to look at this topic on, unfortunately. And nobody's going to be happy with either answer that we give. It's like, no, just do it the same way, everything, and please all the fans.
No,
certain people will enjoy that. And then if we no, just fucking create something new so all audience members can enjoy it. Then the fans will be like, well, all audience members didn't make the franchise as big as it is now, so you should, suck dick to the fans or whatever.
A great example of what I was saying about you can have both: Thor Ragnarok and World War Hulk, the animated movie.
Yes.
World War Hulk, the animated movie. I think I said Hawk.
I thought they did good with that, because instead, so in the comic, for people who don't know, it's actually the Avengers that send Hulk.
The Illuminati.
Was it the Illuminati? I thought it was the Avengers.
Yeah, that is. It's Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Namor, Black Panther, Charles Xavier, and so maybe one more.
They send Hulk off planet, but this is after he's been separated from Banner.
No.
Was it not?
It is Banner.
Versions. It is Banner. Okay.
Yep.
So
they trick Banner into being like, hey, we're going to send you to or we're going to help you. And then they ship him off to a planet where he's supposed to live in peace for the rest of his existence, away from people. But something goes wrong and he crash lands on a war world and gets put into a battle arena.
Yeah. and those comics are pretty cool. I enjoy those.
The sequels are pretty cool too, where he takes the army back to Earth and is like, you guys suck. I'm here to kick your ass.
And you wonder why we get Maestro in the future.
Yeah. But, in the animation, the animated movie, it changes some things, obviously, because they have to. It's not the comic. But you get pretty much the pure story from the comic for people who don't, like to read those.
Yeah.
And we also get the MCU version with Ragnarok, which fits in with their, continuity and story and stuff. So you can do versions of these stories and also those stories, and they both can be, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Ragnarok was probably one of the better examples too, of taking story elements and tossing them in there. So you get somewhat the best of both version almost, but in one encapsulated story that's telling something different too at the same time. So it's not, you can be like, oh, I remember freaking Hulk. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Like, and go from there. But yeah, it's just like I of course, being a Star Trek fan, I see it a lot. They're like, oh, you can't do that to these characters. I'm like, why not? Like, when they did the Kelvin timeline, which is the Abrams movies, JJ set up and stuff, Chris Pine came in and did Kirk as he would do Kirk, but he also embodied how Shatner did Kirk at the same time. So it was his own version of Kirk, but still a throwback to Shatner's version of Kirk, which was nice. I don't think the new guy is going to do that because the guy who plays the new Spock now doesn't really like embody Leonard Nimoy. I always forget the one guy's name who plays him on the movies. He has a really good name too. He's what's his name?
Zachary Quinto?
Yeah, Quinto. Yeah, Zachary Quinto. He plays him in the Kelvin timeline. He does somewhat embody several of Leonard Nimoy's aspects and shit. So, but in the Discovery show, from what I saw of that version of Spock, it was different, but it's also a younger version. It's several years before. So yeah. We'll see how that works out. But there's also like so many different things. Like people complain about everything. Like I know there was talks about a Buffy redo a few years back. I think COVID.
Yeah, that's still in the works, I believe.
Yeah, I think it got delayed more and more, but it's like I'm a huge Buffy fan. I love Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy, but I'm like, you know what? Her story's done and over with. As long as they're not trying to recreate the exact same thing.
No, you mean like Charmed?
Yeah, I never tried to watch the remake of Charmed, but like if say this new Buffy thing comes out and they try and recreate everything Joss Whedon did with the original Buffy show, you know, like some of the same villains or like the Scooby Gang in the weird way, in the same way, like give the characters different personalities, you know what I mean? Don't try and make them all like act like Allison Hannigan did as Willow and shit like that.
Yeah, and I think that was
and the
plan was for it to be more of a legacy show and not a reboot.
Okay.
It was supposed to be.
I was worried that
someone that she trained.
Okay. Well, she trained. See, though, they gotta be careful because she's training like 100 fucking Slayers at the end of the show. By the time the show ended, and then they did season 8 in the comics. So it's like, so then are we going to just negate the comics storyline that literally continued from the show? Because
they might.
If you do that, then some of the fans that still followed along will get pissed off. But then the other people will, like the new viewers, say this goes to like a CW, they're gonna be like, who the fuck are these? Like, what is this? Like, because Buffy's not in syndication anywhere right now that you can go and watch it, you know?
Yeah.
Not like a lot of places anyways.
I think that it could, if they focus on one particular trainee and, you know, maybe sprinkle in elements of that as they go, like kind of, so for newer audiences, like she's one of many, say some other ones show up.
But see, they did that in the last season before they left TV. Is they found like a bunch of different ones and then they blew up the town, dude. Spoilers for everybody.
Why is there always a town blowing up?
But the main city that the whole show takes place in gets blown up basically. So there's no town, no, you know, they're just traveling and killing vampires.
I mean, they could still work. They you know, they split up at some point. They don't have to stay together as a group the entire time.
But Tivis, in the comics, they didn't split up.
I mean, this could be after the comics. That's what I'm saying.
Comic is
and
still
if
going.
The comics are canon, that means Doctor Who exists in the Buffy universe.
Let it happen. Let it be.
Because he shows up in the comics in the background.
But yeah, there's like shows like that, like where I feel, as for me anyways, personally, like I can say all the shit I can about shows that I don't give a crap about, or movies or video games and stuff like that. But like even for shows like I do care about, like Star Trek or Buffy, it's like I can see certain elements still being used, like you said, like the legacy stuff. But I also think that the legacy continuation type things are kind of getting outplayed by now, where they just, you know, bring back.
I feel like they finally started getting it right with the Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, I guess so with that. And the Scream movie, the new Scream movie, did it decently too.
Yeah.
But they're
So
also
I think they're
making
finally
fun
getting
of
their
it too.
their footing on how to do it properly.
Yeah. So as long as they do it properly, I can see them do it. But then I can also see I know for a fact there's going to be that audience out there that's just like, oh, they're just using them for, the money. And, bring it, like if they brought Sarah Michelle Gellar back into the new Buffy show, they're like, oh, they're just trying to get money. That's
okay.
that's
I actually
true.
got into a debate with someone about the Power Rangers doing this with constantly bringing back the Mighty Morphin team with specifically Jason David Frank and more recently Austin St. John, the Green and Red Rangers.
The two best.
They're like, they're just doing it for nostalgia cash in. I'm like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Like, you're making the older audiences happy while also making the newer audiences happy. What is wrong with that? Like, my God, they're making people happy.
The funny
Fuck them.
The funny thing is too, the funny thing about this is a lot of people that say that are the ones that are like, we need capitalism. Bro, that's capitalism. Like, what the fuck?
Well, not even that. They're just like, I'm so sick. The person was saying that they're sick of nostalgia being involved. I'm like, nostalgia is what gives this stuff longevity. Because you know what? If this continues for another, what is it? Is about to turn 25 Power Rangers as an example. If this continues another 25 years, I guarantee these people will be being brought back.
Tivis, the best thing is nostalgia is literally why we have another Batman movie. Don't tell me about
the last Spider-Man movie.
Another Spider-Man movie. Oh, I'm sure there's a bunch of people that said the same thing about the Spider-Man movie. Oh, it's only made that much money because of the nostalgia factor. Like, yeah.
That's another good one I would say works with Legacy.
Yeah, the Spider-Man. Yeah, it's just one of those big things. It's like, so what?
Yeah, big
deal. As long as it's done
appealing to people.
Right.
Ooh.
but as long as it's done right, it shouldn't matter. As long as the story's good, as long as it's not just like a 2-second, little cameo, and like, oh, they only put that little 2 seconds that the actual actor was there in the trailer to get you to watch it. Because there have been movies that have done that before, and I got pissed off. Or they'll put them on the
Dune,
poster.
where they were, what's her name? The girl from Spider-Man and Euphoria.
Yeah.
Zendaya. They heavily advertised her, and she didn't have a big role in the first one at all. Or Godzilla. Didn't they use Bryan Cranston, and he's barely in the movie?
Yeah. Yep. Oh man. Which Godzilla? Is that the one where Wanda was banging her brother?
Probably.
The first one?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, people. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I agree, like, to an extent. Like, it's just like, make it good and we'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, fucking don't give me the shit about nostalgia when everybody wants John Wesley Shipp to freaking come on to the Flash or every CW show there is, because he's the OG Flash, man. He was the first Flash. Like, don't tell me about nostalgia when you love the Spider-Man movie, but you're just like, oh, we don't need this other shit. Don't talk to me about nostalgia when you're like, oh, fucking Sonic and Knuckles. Hell yeah. Dude, that's nostalgia from video games. Like, what are you talking about? It's the same factor. It's just
it's just a fact of franchises that exist long enough. And even when they don't, Firefly, people want Firefly to come back. Why do they want it to come back? They're nostalgia for the show.
Yeah. It's crazy. And especially in the world of everything is comic book stuff nowadays, or Star Wars, or Star Trek. Those shows run on nostalgia. And not only just nostalgia, but like, you're a fan because you remember how good these other things were, whether it was the comic book or the cartoon or the shows that were before or the movies that were before. That's why you're a fan. and you can say fandom, you can say nostalgia. It's the same thing almost.
Fan, which is a word I don't care for.
Eminem made that one.
Yeah.
That got in the dictionary, dude. But now standing something though is a little bit more extreme, and I wish people would realize that. It doesn't
I
mean
know.
you're a fan. It means you're like a psycho fan. Like you're not stable. Almost like a toxic fan. Which again, I really don't like saying toxic fandoms and stuff like that, because
they're all toxic to a degree.
But I don't think the fandoms are. I think some people can be, but not.
Oh yeah. Anytime you get a group of people that aren't your close friends, you're gonna get an asshole, no matter what.
Sometimes in your close friends too.
Well, yeah. Sometimes there's always the one guy, but it's just If you like something, stick to your friends and don't go beyond it, because you're going to meet people who are going to try to tell you that you're wrong for liking it, which is the dumbest thing ever.
I mean, like I was talking about Twilight. You were just like, nope, fuck, nope.
I didn't say you couldn't enjoy it. I just said it was horrible.
Right. But you didn't tell me, why would you watch that?
I was asking why you were torturing your children.
Yeah, it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. And anybody that's going and telling you that your product or your fandom or whatever, because you like it, is stupid, they're literally the ones that are stupid. You don't need to defend yourself for that ever.
Don't let these people ruin things for you either. There's quite a few people I know who are like afraid of Rick and Morty because of how fucking horrible a lot of the man children are that watch it. Just remember, these same man children probably watch a lot of other things you do as well, and that shouldn't ruin that either.
What do you mean by that? I don't understand that.
Well, do you remember the last time they brought back the Szechuan sauce at McDonald's, which they're doing again?
No.
Oh, dude, look up the videos. There's a dude who jumps on the counter screaming his head off because they ran out. It was horrible.
What does it have to do with Rick and Morty? Like,
because they
watched it and they were fans.
There was an episode that was not in partnership with McDonald's at all. In fact, Adult Swim reached out to McDonald's like, hey, we're about to air this. Do you want to do something? And McDonald's was like, nah. And then it aired and it became a huge thing where they're like, hey, we want this Mulan special sweet and sour sauce or whatever it is. I don't know. It's basically just ketchup and sweet and sour. And the people went nuts demanding McDonald's bring it back after this one episode. McDonald's is like, oh, hey, we're doing it. We're bringing it back.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Adult Swim is like, you fucking assholes.
Wow.
And the people went ballistic for it, and they do it all the time. Like, you talk to them and you tell them like, hey, which is true. A lot of the episodes, they're not that clever, and they're not meant to be. The creators even say that. They're like, don't look deep into this show. It is surface level jokes. Yeah. But people try to, and they're like, you just don't have the intelligence to understand it. No, you're just overthinking it because you're an idiot.
Well, that's a great thing too about being a fan or some like a film buff, I guess you would call us. Like, we can take something and find shit in there that the authors or the directors or writers didn't even think about when they were writing it. Like, I probably said some shit about Twilight that I'm sure that the fucking writer of those books didn't even think about the fact.
Oh, I'm 100% sure of that.
because
you somehow made it interesting.
But I only said a few of the items that could have been really cool to touch on, or some of the social stuff that they did. Now, granted, some of the stuff that they did socially in that might have just been the director being like, all right, we need to do something, because say something, because this is kind of meh. Anyways, Yeah, I never knew that about like the Rick and Morty people or anything like that. Like I recently
They're
got into it.
avoid Rick and Morty fandoms
Yeah.
like the plague.
I just
Like if you
recently
enjoy
got
it, just
into
talk to your
shit.
friends.
But I don't talk to anybody, but like I watch so many freaking adult cartoons that if I read into all of them, I'm gonna find shit in them. Of course you're gonna find stuff in them, especially when you're looking, it's a conspiracy thing. If you look hard enough, you will find something. You know, it's not that hard ever, especially if you can actually use your brain and think about it. You will find things. Does that mean that the writers, the creators actually put the stuff in there for that? No, it does not. So I don't know. With fandoms and fans and shit like that, I'm like, more power to you. Be a fan. Be a fan of more things, dude. And don't let other people tell you that whatever you like is stupid. Like I said, I'm a Star
Don't
Trek
let them
fan.
taint it either.
Yeah.
Just
Well, being a
enjoy
Star
it for what it is, not for who else enjoys it.
yeah. But like I said, like being a Star Trek fan, or like you are deep into Star Wars more than I too.
Mhm.
Like I'm only like the movies, you know,
Yeah.
and being in those fandoms, we see it a lot just in those two fandoms. Like people were like, oh, well, that's not real. That's not this, that, you know, that's not real Trek. That's not real Star Wars. That's not the, that's not, you know, George Lucas wouldn't have liked it. So I'm like, bro, George Lucas made the prequels and y'all hated those too. Like, what the fuck? Are you serious right now?
Has no one seen his original ideas for episode 7?
Right.
It would have been worse. He wanted to go further into the midichlorians. You know,
Yeah.
the thing everyone hates.
Now with Star Trek, I understand somewhat of what people talk about with it more so, because like they're like, well, Gene Roddenberry wouldn't have wanted this. I'm like, yeah, but he also just doesn't own it anymore. He's dead. Like, not to be a dick.
Didn't he
like,
also hate a lot of the stuff that was being made before he died?
like a lot of things that he had to compromise with and stuff. Yeah, there were things that he made that he didn't want to do before.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
I mean, he
also with the Tolkien movie coming out, the not the movie, the TV show Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
All the people losing their minds over a black guy playing an elf. Oh my God, that is not how it is in the books. Well, here's the thing. It's not the books.
well, not only that, I mean, their race is literally elf.
Yeah.
Like I read into some of that and understood like where they were coming from and like the way that
I don't.
no, like I understood like what they meant, like the way the author describes elves in the books or whatever. Is it Tolkien, right? Is the author,
Yeah.
main author? Sorry, I'm not a big Lord of the Rings guy either. But yeah, the way
World War I veteran.
the way that he describes the elves and stuff like that, or the elven people in the books, he uses specific language that says that they're more of a pale skin. But I'm like, that doesn't mean all of them, just the ones that he's describing.
Yeah.
So, and it's a big thing, and you can go into it for days on that stuff, man.
What really annoys me though is the people who are giant fans of the movies complaining about this show being different from the books. Because why don't you look up how different the movies are to the books? Your head might explode.
I wonder if they're also the same people who hated the Hobbit movies, and then they're now going to say the Hobbit movies are good because the new show's coming out.
Oh, so the Star Wars effect?
Yeah. We're gonna lose a lot of fans, but I'm sorry. It's the way. I mean, that's how fucking people are. It's crazy, man. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Seeing fandoms and talking fandoms is crazy. And I'm really glad that like Scream, the new Scream movie that recently had dropped. I watched it, so I don't want to spoil anything in it. But the main thing is like they're talking about different fandoms, prequels, requels, sequels, dequels. I don't know, all the different types of ways they're redoing franchises right now. And also they dive into toxic fandom a lot in that movie. And I'm really glad that the way that they portray everything is laid out. It's like, as somebody sitting on the outside who understands all these different aspects, I'm like, that's really, it's true for a lot of these different things. Like, they're making fun of how movies make all these other different things, but they're also making fun of how fans want everything the way fans want it, or how movies literally fuck up their franchises. And, but then the fans also will bitch about everything they do, whether it's good or bad or anything like that. If people are fans of the Scream franchise, I do want to say this, though. If you're fans of the Scream franchise, definitely watch this movie, because I feel, even though I know they've announced they're going to do another one, I feel this is the perfect bookend to the franchise. Unfortunately, Wes wasn't with us to see it, happen or even develop or anything like that. But I felt like this was like one of the best bookends to a franchise that I've seen in a very long time, as a fan of, the franchise, of course. So also, don't watch the new fucking Texas Chainsaw, because
I was going to say, did you write a review for Scream like you did Texas Chainsaw?
I did not. I should, though. But Texas Chainsaw just pissed me off so much.
I'll before we get into that, I'll leave the discussion with the whole liking things and toxic people to like what you like. And if it stops being enjoyable, you can stop watching it there. That's perfectly acceptable.
But I will say,
don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I knew you were going to say that, but I will say too, do not be afraid to engage in healthy conversation about these things, like why you don't like it, why you do like it, things like that. The second
I'll razz on Myke for Twilight, but I'm not gonna,
but see,
go meaner than that.
I can take people shitting on everything I like. My wife does it all the time. So
that's just the stuff you're into, though. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I just remember, make sure you have healthy conversations about these things. Don't just go on the internet and be like, fuck these people, fuck this, like people would, and I really hate it because people do this, and I know people do this. We know people that do this in general. And it's not just one person that we know other people, like through the Facebooks and shit like that would just be like, oh, screw the Snyder cultist fans, or screw, these people, or new Trek this and old Trek that, and all Star Wars this, and fuck, what's the girl's name who's in control of Star Wars right now? I don't remember her name.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy, and Dave Filoni's the saving Star Wars people. Like, what? Don't engage in conversation that start off like that. Let's just say that, because it will just make you either grumpy or angry, or you'll get like heated. You'll
rage.
You won't think about the actual like, you might have good points in your mind as to why these things are good or bad or whatnot. But the second you start getting angry about it on the internet, remember, one, it's the internet. It's always going to be there. And two, people are fucking crazy, man. Like, you don't want to start getting into dumb arguments with people for no reason at all, especially over a fandom. Like, it's like, don't get me wrong, this shit's my life. It's my life, dude.
Their rage my wife is addictive.
Yeah,
but just say no.
But it's not going to affect your life one way or another. And even for people out there who have kids and they're like, oh, all the movies are going to be super, woke this and woke that, and super like all this other stuff. And they're not going to be made as good as before and things like that. Just remember, if you have kids, you can let your kids watch the old stuff, my man. It works. We just sat down and watched the old school Richie Rich movie with Macaulay Culkin. Like, it's okay to watch old stuff. Not everything has to be new. And that's my PSA for the day.
I can't say how annoyed I am with the woke term. Like, it originally had a point to being used to now it's just anything I don't like is woke, and it's just shut up. Anyone who uses that term, I just want to punch in the face so much.
Oh, I'm so woke, I'm asleep.
I wish I wasn't so woke.
No, when people complain about like woke or SJW crap anymore, I'm just like over it, because it's been going on for too long, too many years. I'm like, you can't say that about every product just because like a woman is the lead and she's whooping ass to a bunch of guys. Like, what do you want to, you're gonna hire?
There's the someone in it who's not straight. Oh, it's suddenly woke. No, they just have a person who's not into the opposite gender.
Right.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter anymore, man. It's just all crazy. And
we're going on rants now.
I hope our audience still appreciates our content.
It has been months we've been having it build up. So.
Yeah. So it's been about 2 hours now. I think we should get going here.
Yeah.
With that, just remember, have healthy conversations about movies and music, man. Because let's not even get into music right now, because there's so much shit going on right now.
There's always stuff with music, dude. I don't think there's been a decade, or I shouldn't say decade because I haven't been alive that long, but a year since I was born where some controversial shit wasn't going on in music.
Oh, there's so much going on right now. And I was watching some stuff before we started, so I was like, I'm gonna stay away from that since we're gonna talk about this other stuff. But appreciate everybody for listening today. Again, remember, you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter at Operation Babble. We will start getting more posts on there as well. If you want to check out me and Tivis on another show that we are doing, it is called The Monster Cast. And you can find that on all the streaming platforms as well. And you can also find it on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at The Monstercast. And then you can also find that at The Monstercast YouTube channel, where we do our video content as well for there, which is basically the podcast, just you get to see our pretty ugly faces. So.
And I'll do the stuff you don't like to do. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, rate us.
All right. And also, if you want to talk to us directly, of course, you can always DM. Is that what they call it now, Tivis? DM us on social media. Message us on social media, or you can email us at operationbabble@outlook.com.
You almost said the monster email, didn't you? I saw your... No.
So yeah, you can email us there. Any questions, comments, rebuttals against anything we might have said today or any other episode. Just let us know which episode you're referring to if you do bring something up from the episode, since we are on the
and which one of us said it as well. Because
yes,
our brains are like goldfish. I guarantee I won't remember what we talked about after we stop recording.
Most likely. I don't remember what was really said.
What did we start the show with?
I don't remember. Streaming stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely check us out on social media, guys, and check out the Monstercast. It's actually a really cool podcast. We're not doing like what we do here. It's a watch through podcast. So we watched several episodes of the Monsters
two at a time
per episode.
Usually.
And then we will discuss those episodes, break them down like beep for beep almost, and give our input on those and what commentary we might have seen or the production and stuff like that. So definitely check that out. We have been loving doing it. We're just gonna say that
we have been getting love from people listening. So, we must be doing something right.
yeah. So definitely really fun to do, and you can find that everywhere again at the Monstercast. And this is Operation Babble again, and welcome back. And hopefully we will have another episode for you real soon. We want to keep doing both of these shows. And we decided we're going to be like,
we feel bad that this one kind of fell by the wayside with Like, there's just been so much going on in our lives.
Yeah, and Tivis
Like,
is
both of
working
us.
overtime.
Oh God.
So we'll knock it out for you guys, and we appreciate y'all, and thanks for checking this back out. And Tivis, my man, let's remember, if you know how to do this. How did you enjoy today's show, my man?
I liked it.
Awesome. With that said, guys, I am going to read a quote from Twilight.
I knew it.
Eclipse, I want to say this one's from.
Let me hear it and I'll be able to tell you. Maybe.
Here we go. From Edward to Bella, or yeah, we'll just go there. Stop trying to take your clothes off. It might be too late for my soul, but I will protect yours. Yeah.
I think that might be from New Moon.
New Moon.
He's trying to commit suicide.
Later, guys. Peace.
See ya.
You just finished another great episode of Operation Babble. You can catch every episode of Operation Babble on all your audio streaming services, including SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, and more. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Operation Babble, and join the conversation today by searching for the Operation Babble group on Facebook. Links also in the description. Thanks and have a great day.